Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the shop. I am George and this is You Wanna Watch. Today I'm going to be doing a video like I've never done before. I noticed in my Vise restoration videos there's a lot of comments wondering why I oil my Vises the way I do. So I'm going to walk you through that process and why I do it. Basically, I don't have a climate controlled shop. So there's a lot of temperature fluctuations, moisture fluctuations in my shop that I'm battling constantly. And this is just what helps me. It might help you, I don't know. So I say without any further ado, we jump right into it. Let's go. Alright guys, so this is my Yoast 103. I did this restoration probably 2 years ago. I don't know if you can see the dust that's coming off that. This thing's scrungy from sitting on top of my shelf. But all I did to this vise, I heated it up with a map torch, okay, and I wiped it down with 3-in-1 oil. And I've done this probably, I have it wrote down, 4 times. 4 times in 2 years, and there's no surface rust. Well, I take that back. I'm starting to get a little bit of surface rust right there, if you can see that. So, what I do to get rid of it, can you guys still see that? So what I do to get rid of it, I grab a 4/0 steel wool, I grab a shop rag, I wipe the whole thing down, get all the excess dust and debris and everything else off this. And it is sticky from the years of having the oil on there. I'm just going to pull this apart. Look inside, there's no rust. I use grease on it. No rust on the slide. So where I saw the surface rust was right here on the ear. So I'm just going to hit this with a steel wool. Nice fine steel wool. That's taken the rust back off of it. Any other spots with rust? Not that I see. A little bit on the meatball here. A little bit on the meatball. Not much. Tiny bit on the handle. And wipe it back down, try and get as much of that off there as possible. And then some 3-in-1 oil, guys. That's all that there is to this. Now in my shop I do get a lot of climate fluctuations, as I said in the intro. You might have to do it more often or less, depending on how dry your shop is. But like I said, my shop is not dry at all. And that's it right there. We put her back together, done deal. Now this vise is ready for use. It still moves like $1 million. This truly is my favorite Vise. But look at that. I mean, it's as good now as the day when I restored it. So I'm quite happy with that. So this is my oldest Vise that I restored that I still have. I collect Yoasts, typically the older style Yoasts, and I'll never get rid of it. So this is going to stay in my collection forever. Let's see, next. The Big Reed 106. So let me explain this one to you. This is 135 pounds of pure steel. And, well, to be honest with you, I didn't want to have to take this thing apart to service it constantly. I did this Vise 5 months ago. It's dusty, absolutely. It's been sitting in the shop with all my other projects and stuff of that nature. I'm not going to try and pick this up and get a good close-up for you because, well, let's just face it, it's too heavy. Get the dust off it and I'll show you what she looks like. I did not oil this one down because I didn't want to have to take it apart periodically to do it. So this one got a lacquer clear coat. So I don't think this thing will ever start rusting up, to be honest with you. So this is what the lacquer coat looks like. And it's pretty much user friendly, you know. She's just a big beast, and like I said, I don't want to have to constantly keep taking it apart. So that is that one. Whew, man, that thing is heavy. Alright, so the next Vise is going to be the 203.5R Reed. I did this one 3 months ago, and I've oiled this twice. It's actually due for another oiling, so this is perfect timing. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the way that this one turned out too. Give you a close-up of it. She still looks just as good now as she did when I originally restored this, so quite happy with this one. This one I'm gonna spritz some 3-in-1 on there. There's no surface rust, so there's no reason for the 4-aught steel wool. And I'm just going to give her a nice little quick wipe down with the 3-in-1 oil. So what that 3-in-1 oil is doing is leaving a nice film on it. Yes, dust will collect to it. I mean, it's inevitable. It's just going to collect. And, you know, if you spend some time, you wipe it down periodically, it'll always look good. So again, that's just what I do. It might not work in your shop, but it works in mine. I'll show you what it looks like after the wipe down. Ooh, almost dropped it. After the wipe down, still looks great, right guys? So, quite happy. Let me go grab the little Eerie. I just finished this one out a couple of weeks ago. This is not due for a servicing for about another month. Look how tiny that thing is compared to the rest of them. So this is the little Eerie 102.5. This is the one that had the big gouges and nasty stuff on there. But it still looks as good as it did the day I finished it out. So again, this is a couple of weeks old. I probably won't wipe this back down with oil until July. So, but yeah, I'm quite happy. Again, this is just what works for me. So I don't know if it's going to work for you in your area. If you're in a dry climate, there's no reason why this wouldn't work for you. Where I am here in the Northeast, we get temperature fluctuations constantly, wet weather, everything. But it is time for me to do a servicing on my user Hollands. This is my bench vise that I use daily. This is the 14.5, 1 meaning stationary, 4.5 of course because it's a 4.5 jaw. So let me show you what I do for this. Since this is bolted down in place, I'm not going to take it apart, anything like that. I just get the dust and debris off it. And I kind of wind up oiling this a lot more because I use it more often. But I usually go pretty liberal with my oil on this one. Again, because I always use it. So, same thing, oily rag. Drizzle it on there real good. Wipe it down, try and get all that oil into the nooks and crannies and underneath the jaws, especially the handle. The ball. It always seems like the ball for some reason rusts up on me on this one, but since I just basically wiped this down the other day after grinding, the ball's not messed up. So let me wind this back in and I'll get that side. But this thing still operates just perfect. Is there easier ways of doing this? Yeah, you bet your butt there is. You can paint it and never have to worry about doing this. You can clear coat it like I did with the Reed 106. But, you know, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with clear coating it. I prefer oil. Just my preference, guys. I'm no expert, no guru. I'm just a dude in a shop putting around like the rest of the guys, you know. Alrighty guys, well I think that's about it for this one. Hope that answered some questions that y'all had. Like I said, it works for me. It might not work for you. Depends on your shop, your workspace, whatever. But this is just what happens to work for me. Again, the only one that I clear coated was the big Reed 106 because I don't want to have to keep taking that thing apart. So it's too heavy. But the rest of them, that's just oil. 2 years ago, I did this restoration, and you just saw that little tiny bit of flash rusting. As far as I'm concerned, that's a win. But yeah, that's it. If you guys got any questions or comments, just throw it in the comment section. You guys know where it goes. Like always, stay safe, be safe. We'll see you next week with another. Thanks, guys. Bye. Oh, now I gotta pick this big damn thing back up and move it across the shop. Oh.